Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Roger D. Williams Memorial Field. This is Wiffle Ball Weekly, episode 2 of season 3 here in 2022. I'm Isaac Williams, your host as always, and I have Bryson McGee, my co-host here on the field with me. And Bryson, how you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah. So obviously, opening day came and went, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Yes. We're going to talk about series number 2 between my team, the Southeastern Sharks, and the Eastern Express. And then obviously we'll preview what's to come. We'll talk about your success on opening day. So without further ado, let's look at opening day. So obviously the Carolina Crush beat the Eastern Express 3-0, scores of 9-6, 11-6 in extras, and 6-2 in game 3.
Yes.
So obviously you kind of picked up, kind of where you left off. Obviously you ended 2021 with a National League pennant against the Predators. And then this year, obviously, you kind of picked up with the Predators captain, James Gerald, on your team. How do you feel knowing that you started out 3-0 and you have a chance to build on something special with a 0 in the loss column?
It feels pretty great, and I'm glad we were able to start off hot. I had some jitters going into opening day for sure, not knowing what the new era was going to hold with me and James, and just learning each other's weaknesses and strengths. And so coming out on opening day and going 3-0 was just a blast.
I believe it. When you can play opening day, that's one thing. But when you're able to do it and go 3-0, or at least win the series, it's a whole other thing. I can't imagine, mostly because I've not played opening day yet. Well, that's awesome.
It's definitely something that is cherished. That's for sure. It's something that I've looked forward to, and I've been able to play in, I think, 3 now. So it's been amazing being able to play opening day series. Just the jitters leading up to it, and then getting that first home run in the bottom of the first, that everything went away.
That first pitch home run, I believe it. I tell you that watched the ball come in and just he smoked it, and I was like, well, that's how today's going to go. It was a blast to call. I was very excited to see. And it's not like even though y'all won all 3 games, you didn't blow them out.
Exactly.
You had a close series,
exactly.
And game 2 could have went either way.
Oh yeah.
James busted it open with that 3-run home run, and
yes,
we'll talk to him here in just a few minutes, but. He busted it open with that and put y'all up 9-6.
Yes, he did.
And I think
definitely.
when that happened, I think there was kind of this tone of, okay, we're here to stay. We mean business. And I think it was a lot of fun to call. I'm very excited to have been able to be a part of that.
Yeah, we definitely got started off slow in that second game and just trying to overdo it, and I got a little too swing happy in the box and just kind of got we got down, and then we brought it back, and then we went down again, and then tied it up, and then in extras, James just absolutely opened it up with the absolute missile. I knew it was going right off the bat, and I was so thrilled for him.
Well, once he busted it open and it was 9-6, I was like, yep, this one's probably over, because I knew you were going to close it. I knew at that point you would come in to close the bottom of the 4th, and it was pretty cool actually. We ended up having extras in a couple of games opening week.
Yes, we did.
Also opening week, shout out to Pilot Tire for being our sponsor. Their graphic will be here. And you can call them at the phone number listed, 336-444-TIRE. And special thanks to them for sponsoring opening week for us. It was a blast to have them as a part of the production.
Yes.
And so we'll talk about your day. So have a day, Mr. Commissioner. So you obviously had a 555 average. Actually, I think it should be 556 when you round up. 5 home runs and 16 RBIs. That was in the batter's box. And then you had a 3.0 even ERA and 17 strikeouts, 2 walks on the day. I don't even know where to go from there, because you threw 9 9 innings, and you had 2 walks. So, how did you muster that?
And just following with the game, or with the pace of the game, really. I just try and get locked in on the mound and get zoned out. And when I'm zoned out and locked in, I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I hit my spots, and I'm one of the. I just got most control in that moment.
Talking about, I think it was 9 innings you had pitched. It'll be on the graphic, but so you had 17 strikeouts, which puts you at just over an average of 2 strikeouts per inning. So it puts you at roughly 6 per 3. Obviously, you hold the record for the most strikeouts in a single game, which is 14 or 12. Can't remember. But you hold the record, so obviously that's a record that'll probably never be duplicated unless we have a long, scoreless, extra innings game, being that we now play 3 innings standard. But how did it feel? Obviously, I know that the team performed well. You and James, obviously, you hit it out of the park in more ways than one. But you started off hot. How do you feel going into your next series against the Bulldogs? How do you feel? You can pick up and lead off from here because you started. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves.
It feels really good to just start out hot. Like last year, I kind of got started off mediocre, and then picked up later on in the season. And to start this year where I left off is just, it's amazing. I'm glad I was able to start off hot, and I just look forward to carrying it on one game at a time and just keeping the team's motto.
One game at a time. That's the one. All right, well, Bryson, I'll get you right back on here real quick. We're going to get James Gerald, the newcomer. Welcome to Crush Nation. Mr. Gerald, welcome. So that's actually the first episode of Wiffle Ball Weekly we've had at RDW, and it's pretty cool to be out here. So, number one, welcome. And so we'll talk about your opening day, or your opening day series, should I say. So you had a 423 average, which is very strong. You had a home run and 10 RBIs, accumulating for, a good portion of the team's RBIs. How do you feel about your performance opening day?
I feel really good. First game, a little bit of nerves, as always. It's first game of the year, but I think once I settled in, I think I did pretty decent.
Well, and I'll talk again about what we talked about a little bit ago with Bryson. We look at your, you were just steady. You were getting on. You were drawing the walks, and then the fourth inning come around in game two, and you busted it open. Okay, let me ask you, what was going through your mind when you were in the box at that at bat, thinking, okay, we got two runners on, we're tied, we're in extras, it's opening day, trying to win this series, at least get to the first two games. What was going through your mind before in that at bat?
Well, the first two pitches prior to my home run, Brian had thrown me two off-speed pitches, and he had been mixing in a lot of off-speed and then throwing a fastball to get the out or the strikeout and stuff like that. And so I was sitting heater. If I had to cheat to get a run, I was going to cheat, but I saw the heater up and in, and I just swung. And so
I tell you, I go back and we'll show the highlight. You swung. And you just watched it. I think it took you a minute to get up the line because you were just like, you were like, oh, okay, I think.
Yeah, I was praying it was gone because I was like, man, if this dies the ball, I'm gonna be very upset. But
we had a lot of balls opening week that were kind of heavy. The air was kind of heavy, especially when it gets dark like this out here. It kind of gets, especially when it's warm. And it was a little chilly, so it just it had all kinds of factors on the ball. James, building on your performance in series number one, when you go into series number 4 against the Bulldogs, how do you feel going into that series, coming off of obviously a very strong opening day performance?
I feel good. There's always some sort of hesitation, especially when you're playing team for the first year that you haven't played. With the addition of Brett, that team we don't know how he pitches and stuff like that, and how he hits. So there's kind of a little bit of hesitation, but I think it showed in our first series that we're a good team, and I think we can keep the consistency we had in Series 1. We should be okay.
I think if you guys can keep half the chemistry you had on opening day for the rest of the year, you'll be in good shape. Yeah? All right, then. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, man.
Good stats, and we'll get Bryson back up here, and we'll close this sucker out. But not before we talk about Series number 2, which I'll let Bryson go over because that was my team.
Yeah, so series number 2, it was the Eastern Express versus the Southeastern Sharks. It was a great series to call. I was in the booth for that one. Game 1, the final score was 6-4 Eastern Express. The game 2 was 6-2 Eastern Express, and then game 3 was the Southeastern Sharks. Isaac, I'm gonna get it right into it. What is your take from y'all's first series of the year, and what would you like to build on from first series in opening week?
Well, first of all, it felt really good to get a win. Last year we were swept on opening day, and we were swept in every series except one. In late summer when we finally got that one win against you and Thomas. Yeah. So it felt good to get our first win on opening day, and looking back on that, I think if there's one thing I could have done differently, it would have been to, have maybe hit the ball better. And I thought I said this in post game, but I would like to have hit the ball better, and I'd like to have been able to have kept them off the board because as you can see, we lost games 1 and 2 by a total of 6 runs. Yeah. And we won game 3, we walked it off, but when you really look at when you look at the whole body of work for the series, we did pretty well.
Yes.
And so I think if I could have changed one thing, it would have just been to have limited their runs, because we were right in it. And game one, we had bases loaded.
Yeah.
We had 2 outs. I had a nothing count. I had a first pitch, and I blasted it, and I just got under it just a bit, and
Yeah.
I put Jackson at the wall to catch it. So that was on me. And if looking back on it, I would just love to be able to have that one back, because I would have loved to have put it over the fence.
Yeah, so y'all, like I said, y'all played really well in y'all's first series. Y'all proved that y'all are a team that can beat teams, and y'all proven that y'all can hang right there with the Eastern Express, and they were coming off the adrenaline from our series, so being able to hang right there with them, I think, is amazing on y'all's part, and it's a good thing to look forward to for y'all's next series coming up. So how did it feel being back out here on RDW and playing opening week? I know I said I had jitters. James said he had jitters. What was your take coming into opening week?
So coming to opening week, I kind of thought about it. I was like, all right, it's 2022. It's a new year. We got new color sets. We got the new purple and whites, and we kind of rebranded based on the dash here in Winston, here next to home, and so kind of rebranding the team. I had a fresh outlook. We had the white shorts, we had the purple tops, we had the whole thing. And so, kind of looking back on that, looking in on opening week, I was like, all right, it's time to get down to business, and we'll see what happens. I know that that Brian has a very high consistency rating throwing strikes, and so that made me comfortable, because I was like, okay, he's going to throw me stuff I can hit. I know I can hit him, and the biggest thing was obviously not swinging at the pitches that weren't hittable. So I think all in all, I feel good. But looking back at going into it, I was like, let's just get down to business.
Yes.
And let's make it happen. And we were able to at least salvage one. We didn't get swept. And right now we're sitting at a game back in the American League, so I can't complain.
Exactly, and like I said, y'all, it being the first not interleague, but division series of the year, it was a really good series. The scores don't show it as much justice, but game 1 was determined by 2 runs, game 2 was determined by 4 runs, and then the last game y'all won by 1. So I mean, they were all really close matchups, and the score, like I said, the scores don't show it justice, but it was back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just like somebody got out to a big lead and somebody had to fight back.
Yeah, and that was kind of the biggest thing. We went in game 3, we went into the bottom of the third, and we were down. I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was like 6-2 or something like that, and we kind of started slow, and then, like I said, I've said it several times, but we worked the count, and if we're just willing to be patient and wait for our pitch and make them throw strikes, we can be dangerous. We're not great. I'm not going to sit here and say that we are. They give us a run for their money, but when we can wait like that, we can contend. We can contend. We're not great, but we can contend.
All right. Well, I'll turn it back over to you so you can go over this next series.
So we'll kind of talk about this together, obviously, because once again, it's another one for the Sharks. So series number 3, preview between the Sharks and the Bulldogs. That'll be a former American League matchup from last year.
Yes.
It'll be an interleague, our first interleague of the year against the Bulldogs. Going into it, looking at Taylor and Brett. Obviously, we've not seen Brett play yet. Very intrigued.
Yes.
Very intrigued to see what happens with Brett, how he hits the ball, how well he pitches. I assume he'll pitch simply because Taylor is more of an outfielder.
Yes.
Taylor can pitch, but he's more of an outfielder. So, I'm excited about that one. I think we're going to break out the Sunday Night Blacks for that one, and we'll make it happen, and we'll go alternate for that game. And if we can just contend, if we can win the series, the way I look at it is if we have 7 series and we win every series, we win 2 games out of each one. Obviously, we hadn't done that yet. We lost 2 against the Express, but if we can win 2, puts us at 14, and with a good chunk being against the Express, we're in a position to win the pennant and have home field going into the postseason. So
I'll touch on that a little bit too. Looking into it, seeing that it's Brett's first series here in NCWB. It's a lot to watch for and a lot to look for, considering him and Jackson are the only 2 going after the Rookie of the Year. So it was like us not knowing exactly how Jackson would play in our first series, and then learning as the series went on his weaknesses and his strengths and all that. It'll be something to look for with Brett coming into his first series in the NCWB.
Yeah, I mean, I think you summed it up well. You know, I don't know what to expect. I have no idea what to watch for. You know, we'll just hope and pray that, you know, I know he's going to be good. It's just a matter of how good, you know, and whether or not, you know, we're able to hang with him. I think that we can, but we'll just see. You know, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing Taylor back out here, and go Sharks. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap up Football Weekly.
Yeah, that's going to do it
Episode 3.
that's going to do it for season 3, episode 2. As always, Isaac Williams, your host. As for myself, Bryson McGee, and James Gerald helping us behind the camera and being our guest star today, we'll say so long from RDW, and we will see you guys next time.
See y'all.